nasa Australia and Manaslu. I thought those mountains taught me to be myself, how to love myself, and sometimes how to challenge yourself. That's what brought me here in New York to find my passion, find my dream, and I graduated with theater degree. And I haven't become the hero or actor I've seen in TV, but hey, I made it here in front of you guys today. So this is my 10th year being here in the United States. Around 2017, I was still learning ESL, which is English as a secondary language, and I was about to finish and transitioning into college. That's when we see came to the States.
Hello, my name is Yibin Wang. I was born in the U.S., but I grew up in Mongolia, so in a way, my mother tongue is both Mongolian and English. In Mongolia, I lived on a mountain. My neighbors were cows and horses, and I drank out of a well. But also, I saw movies and skyscrapers and learned archery in a gymnasium. I came to New York, though, to be an artist and work in theater, which I've been doing for the past 8 years as an actor, director, and projections designer. But in 2019, it was my second year in New York. My hair was this long, it was bright red, the color of this rug, and that is when Rita came to New York.
Hi, 大家好. My name is Rita Liu. I was born and raised in Taiwan, where bubble tea was invented. My mother's tongue is Mandarin. I understand Taiwanese too, but I just don't know how to speak it. For some reasons, my Taiwanese teacher said my Taiwanese sounds like a foreigner. Anyway, I came to the United States in 2019 for my master's degree in educational theater. And in 2022, when I was struggling with my first job as a teaching artist here in New York City, Mia came to the States.
Hello, my name is Mia Zhu, and my mother tongue is Mandarin Chinese. I'm from a small town in the northern part of China. We're very similar to the Italians. We all make noodles in 500 different ways. So why am I here? My mom wanted me to be a doctor, Asian parents. And I'm here to work for it. It's just not the medical kind that she hoped for. It's actually a PhD in theater and performance. Yes. I came here in July 2022, and 2 months into my stay in the US, I was still sleeping on the floor in the living room that I rented, and that is when Andy came here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Andy Law. 大家好. That's hello in Cantonese. So my mother tongue is Cantonese. I grew up there in Hong Kong for 18 years, and then I went to Japan for college. And during that time, I wanted to be an actor, surprisingly. So I went to New York, came here to New York to pursue acting, also tap dancing, also weakening my English, also strengthening my ability to not give a shit on subway. Thank you very much. Stun test.
This is an ongoing project.
One of many iterations.
We started it last year with many people like us.
With people
Meaning of my name is beginning of the universe, sound of the universe, and end of the universe. Om. That's why we chant with Om. I mean, our Buddhist culture and Hindu culture. I didn't really like that name when I was in my country. My name was Bitu, which is more like dance. It's like myself more than Omras is more official. That's what I felt. When I came here, everyone started calling me Omraj. Instead of Omraz, they called me Omraj. And somehow I liked it because it sounded a little fancy, I guess. So I got comfortable with that name. Okay, I'll take it, Omraj. But I was very uncomfortable calling my professor by that name. Because in our country, we don't really call our elders or professor by their name. You know, if you call by their name, it's more disrespectful. And somehow, like, I called my professor Stephanie, because her name was Professor Stephanie, and I got used to saying her name. And when I went back to my home country 2 years ago, my subconscious mind, I called 50 years old Nepali woman by her name at the department store, and I was like, hey Muna, and she gave me that look. And I was like, I can't really describe that look, and it took me 30 seconds to figure out why she gave me that look, because I called her by her name. I mean, I don't know if I should have called Auntie, Didi, or something, but at that time I felt like maybe it was sexy. I don't know. I mean, but it was uncomfortable, for sure.
In the reverse, I try to really remember how to stay respectful in my language, in Mongolian. When you refer to someone, if they're older than you, you say ka, and if they're younger than you, you say chi. Both of them mean you, but ka is the respectful version. And so there's a Mongolian salon owner here in New York, she's in Friday, and she's one of the only people I can speak in my mother's tongue with. And last time I saw her, she was doing my eyelashes, I was talking to her, I was using ka, and she stops me up and she's like, wait, how old are you? And it turns out she's 3 years older than me, but she says, I'm not that much older than you, don't call me ka. I was really shocked. But she had been living in the US even longer than I had, so she got used to this American custom of treating your elders very casually. And I tried really, really hard to call her chi, but I couldn't. It was so uncomfortable.
I think we all made people feel uncomfortable because of our cultural differences. I'm no exception. For me, it's the usage of pronouns. Calm down, everybody. It's okay. Before I came here, in Hong Kong, in Cantonese, there was no gender distinction when we refer to someone as the third person. So there's koi, means that person, and there's koide, means them. And on top of that, we're not really, we are kind of fixated on gender roles. So we have this idea, that he needs to be a man, he needs to be blah, 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 So I'm just going to use Mishi as an example. So when I talk about Mishi, I will be like, yeah, Mishi, she's very talented and such. Is it she?
Any pronouns are fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah?
Do you have a preference or something? I'm trying to be respectful here.
No? You can use any.
Are you sure? Come on, come
This just happened the other day. I went to a yoga place. I was exhausted. I went in. The front desk person was super friendly, right? We're like, "Hi, how are you?" And I froze. My brain froze at that moment. So I didn't speak. I was like, and she was like, and I was like, "Oh yes, I'm good." But I think she expected me to say something like, "I'm good. How are you?" I didn't say it, so she was like, "I'm good too." Yes, which is super awkward. It's like I don't really know how to do small talk. I think it's mainly because I don't feel that kind of emotional attachment to small talks like Lisa does, right? When I do small talk, I still feel like I'm reciting or just copying off some kind of template in English. But on the other hand, I was a translation major, right? And I am a professional translator right now. And I also translate fan fictions on the side. But I deal with all these complex and cultural specific sentences every day in my job. And I feel more power and emotion and control and the sense of freedom when I do translation. So I think I'm not merely Chinese or English and actually live in that in-between zone of translation. So, I want all of us to be a translator with me just for a little while today. We're going to do a small translation game. Don't worry, it's going to be fun. Yes, translation. We are going to, all of us, are going to take one sentence or a phrase from our mother tongue that we think are difficult to translate into English. We'll bring it to you, and you guys are going to help us find the perfect English translation. And we have 3 minutes. Right now, let's go. Yes. word bound and the word tie. And
Team Taiwan, Team Mandarin second group, the term I offered was 加油. The literal meaning was just add oil, but we use this term when people are going to do something important or something like go for a job interview, go for an exam test, and then you say 加油 before they went on the battlefield or whatever things that they're doing. It's like in Korean people say like fighting, or like in Japanese you say 頑張ります. The term that we came up, our brilliant team came up, was to go for it. We feel like add oil is just like adding gas to the car, and then so car goes, so it feels like that person's getting onto the car and you'd be like, go for it. And I love it. I think it's a 10 out of 10.
I actually thought, like, every time I think about the term 加油, I don't know how to translate it. Now I have one. Yes, perfect. Okay, so now you guys know like how my bilingual brain works, and now you get a taste of what translators does in their everyday job, right? It's not easy, but I actually love it. I love doing translation, and I love doing translation in and out of English, because that's the language that we're meeting each other in right now, right here. Yes.
Well, speaking of these languages that we're meeting each other in, I sometimes wonder, are we different people in our different languages?
Oh, I know that's so true.
Let's find out. Alright. So, can you all hear me? Hello. We're going to play a little game. It's a bit of a challenge, but I think we're going to get through it. I'm first going to have a volunteer from my collaborators here. Anyone of you? I'll call on one of you if you don't raise your hand. Alright, Amraj, come up. Okay, so to explain the game, Amraj, you're going to start in your mother tongue zone. And I'm going to ask you a question. And when I say switch, you're going to keep answering the question. You're not translating, you just keep going, but you're switching to English. And you don't have to walk all the way across, you just jump in and out. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Amraj, what exciting plans do you have this summer?
Questo che volessi creare io nelle classi parlare di uno dei domini che sono super keep on another so keep on
Switch?
because I've been like teaching so many classes about like motivating kids like this year, like kids took my all like grade, so I feel like I don't have any exciting plans. So I just want to see, maybe go to Georgia, my friend, visit my friend. I don't know, I want to spend like 1 week and see the beach and come back and plan, I guess. So yeah, I don't have any plan. I don't know what should I speak. I'm just talking bullshit. I forgot English apparently. Can you tell me to switch?
Switch? Alright, thank you. If I switch, will you have nothing else to say?
Yeah, that's more like stressful.
Oh, okay. Alright, well, thank you so much for coming up for the challenge. I brought you in here. Did we see any observations as I'm going to switch back and forth? I'll take any hands and shout it out if you know what you saw. Yeah?
I felt a little bit more relaxed in the mother tongue, more ease and flow.
More dynamic in the mother tongue. Yeah.
I'm more big to here, there, like comrades.
So we have two different people here.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. I'll send you back to the room.
Thank you so much.
I'll take another volunteer, and this time, anyone who speaks two languages, anyone who's bilingual, if you're up to the challenge, you're welcome to come on. Otherwise, I'm going to bring somebody else from my little book here. Do we have anyone? Anyone feeling brave? We're among friends here.
I'll go.
Oh, yeah? Okay, so same rules. I'll ask you a question. You'll start in your mother tongue zone, and you'll just answer the question. Try and say as much as you can. jump over and keep answering the question in English. So you're not translating, you're just continuing what you were saying. All right. Okay. Let me think of a good question here. What is one of the strangest dreams you've ever had?
Pamiętam jedno wspomnienie, mam chyba 11-12 lat, mieszkaliśmy w Wietnamie i pierwszy raz miałem sen o tym, jak
Switch?
albo umarłem, albo either I passed or it felt, I dreamt about leaving my body and I could see, I still remember, I could see vision of me laying there and kind of just floating above. And this, I don't mention that story, but I think I was 12, like that, 12 or 11, and I have such a vivid memory of that dream, just seeing myself.
Switch?
Myśląc o tym teraz, wydaje mi się, że to było dlatego, że przeprowadziliśmy się 2 lata przed w nowym kraju, w nowym miejscu i taka rewelacja mojej nowej sytuacji, otoczeń i to, jak się wszystko zaczęło zmieniać w moim świecie i okolicznościach.
Switch?
Yeah. It's so hard because I just want to translate what I just said. So it's so natural to translate. Yeah, and I'm thinking about the idea because I like this image of floating around and kind of allowing yourself to kind of detach from the physical, and which I think I do in my personal life a lot. Where I just I'm talking with the third person watching. Kind of, you know, in the way of I love to sort of store memories or figure out how I can store memories in my own head, and I'm very happy that I feel like I have a memory so far. So that's yeah, that's all.
Wow, thank you so much. That's awesome. If you don't mind, I would love to ask, what is your name and what language do you speak? I should have asked that right before you did it.
Of course, my name is Meg and I speak Polish.
What observation did we see? Yeah, and
When you're speaking Polish, you're a thinker, and when you speak English, suddenly you turn very animated, and you play with gestures, your hands, and you switch levels. Are you a dancer?
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I think you incorporated that when you speak English, and then when you switch back to Polish, you back up there again.
I see a couple back there.
I have a related observation, which is that I noticed when you were speaking Polish, like we were not engaging here, and so when you were speaking English, you caught our eye contact,
Right.
and we're more right. So like I felt like your responsiveness to us was different.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for participating in the challenge. That was very fun. It's very entertaining. I think it's only fair that since I put you all through the challenge that I should go through it myself. So I will have Andy come up here and be the host for me.
Challenge, right? You want challenge?
Yeah.
You want challenge?
Ask me a question.
Okay. What's the most memorable fight you had with your parents? Switch.
There was like a $3,000 bill because my cat had swallowed 15 inches of yarn. And so I was texting her about this, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, can your partner pay for it?" And I was like, "Well, we're both like, we just moved, so we're working on it. It's on my credit card right now. Like, it's okay."
Switch.
She's not my age. And listen, we'll just, oh, she needs to be over this age, we dance to it. We they have their skin 보자. Then we what does we
Switch.
So I had to hang up the call as already on and call her immediately and be like, how could you say that to me? You can't say that to me. That's such a rude thing to say. And then she and I started fighting and screaming at each other for maybe like 30 minutes. And the peak of it was she just starts like losing her mind about things. And she and my dad are divorced. So at one point she goes like, and I care about you and your brother so much, and I don't think your daddy loves your brother. And I stopped her. And I was like, you are not allowed to say that. You two are always complaining about each other. And then she was like, he complains about me? And I'm like, you just said that he doesn't love his own son. And so we screamed about that for a little more. And then towards the end, we finally like started calming down, and I explained how I felt and why what she said made me feel that way. And then she said what I said made me
Switch.
feel that way. 되게 잘 비비로와 어쨌거나 되게 의사 따라 잘 잡아 말씀 안 하시게 됐어.
I feel like I've asked a really good question. Any observations? Yeah.
I feel like when you speak Mongolian, you kind of go back to the fight scene. But in English, kind of you're describing the situation.
Yeah.
In Mongolian, I felt like the pitch of your voice deepens, and it felt like you were older when you spoke in Mongolian. That was just for me.
Yes.
Mine probably related to both observations. I think your mom sounded angrier being your mother.
You guys know me.
One more?
Do you have an observation?
No, I was really trying to focus on what was going on. I mean, I really wanted to know the answer, so I was more like listening than watching.
Okay. Good super gossip. Well, thank you all. I feel like I've learned something new about myself. I've never heard that I sound older in Mongolian. Thank you so much. Whew. 이 오로 기시리았다. 오로 제일 모든 것을 유식했습니다. 이 왕설이었다. 오로 아무데나 났다. 이 고급 것을 유식했습니다. When I speak English, I feel like the age that I am. I feel like I'm talking to my friends or an audience and I'm making jokes and being funny. 지금 멈춰야겠다. 멈춰야겠다. But we speak. I English is the language I've chosen to speak in the land I've chosen to live in.
Switch.
Well, this is the song that we play everywhere in our dance party, music festival, or any birthday party. Last week I danced on a song and I'm very good. So hey, let's go everyone. Tango bali masile bali, sisa dari nozani. Tango bali masile bali, sisa dari nozani. Tango bali masile bali, sisa dari nozani.
So I listen to this song when I work out. This song is called Viva. And I really enjoy the feeling of my adrenaline being pumped out. Pay no attention to the lyrics because it makes no sense and even I don't understand it. 你听得碰的水，跟着外发不透水，把路都压着我这100万岁，有默契的身上不停水，把我都每大压碎。再流動，再流動，就而家的人作動，大家都慢望你望，就要逝去。歡樂的從，就這快樂順風，覺得激動變痛傷，花紋變無趣，活着是為了將來有去，大家孤獨變最怕愛，不定變死去，活着你為我為誰？ 光伸出，不用在人群很拘束，拉着我，不要飘走，我在你背后放风。嘿，我你是我的花朵，我要拥有你，插在我心窝。你是我的花朵，我要保护你，一路都畅通。 你是我的花朵，就算你身边很多小石头。你是我的花朵，我要爱着你，不眠也不休。
呢首歌咧，我每次唱嘅時候咧都好有自信。唔使人哋話你咩嘢，你只做好你自己，我就係我。 接受一個不完美嘅我。問我呼聲有幾多？問我你哭聲有幾多？我如何能夠一日去數清楚？問我點解會
there for her because I was here. And at that time I heard this song and it became my companion. The song's energy is very peaceful and powerful. It gave me the strength to breathe, and I was able to let her go peacefully and gracefully. And even now, whenever I hear this song, I feel like I can feel her presence, the sense of belongingness, home that she gave me, her smoothness. I still feel it like she never left.
So I went back to Hong Kong last time in December 31st for New Year and spent time with my family during this little short break. It's like 2 weeks, and for some reason I couldn't stay relaxed. Well, because I got a rehearsal going on and I had auditions, I was still very focused. But I really wanted to just spend some time with my family without thinking about work. But it's hard. It's impossible. Or maybe because I really want a career in America. So I'm gonna take a step. You guys can go there or there, depending where you want your career to be.
Okay.
Last time I was in Mongolia was September of 2024. I was there to see family, to update my Mongolian documents, and eat food. And on the way to my grandma's house, I got lost. She lived in the same
it took me 4 months to get back here because I had to go to embassy again, and I had been approved by UCS for my artist visa already, but I had to go there to verify again. And at that time, I felt like I was sacrificing my time, myself. I was spending money and then waiting game, and I didn't have that much fear of rejection compared to my mom and dad. For me, for them, it was more of like, America is the place where dreams come true. So I had to go back, and seeing their fear was the most important thing for me. I mean, not in a bad way or good way, I can't really explain that. But I choose to work hard and get back here, spend more time, spend more money, despite how hard it is to get visa. Developing country like Nepal.
Damn.
What does it mean to belong to a place?
What if we don't feel belong anywhere?
Why does it really matter that we have to choose?
Can I really call New York my home?
Can we belong to more than one place?
I want you all to close your eyes and think of a memory, a sense, something specific that reminds you of home or somewhere you feel you belong. What do you see? I see a blanket on my bed that I can hide under.
I see when I was kickboxing with my roommate.
I see a bus rushing on the road and lights are passing by.
I see my mom screaming at me, "Oh, please get back here and pray with me."
I see a table full of food after I came back home from cram school.
我会看到我儿子，我会想到我儿子，他小的时候的样子很可爱，而且经常会帮助我，经常会想帮助他。比如说有一天，我已经晚上带他睡觉睡着了，然后我到后院洗衣服，他当时之后就醒了，他起来，走到我跟前对我说：“妈妈，让我帮帮你。”我当时说：“你帮我什么呀？”我衣服都洗好了，他就伸开他的双手，他说：“妈妈，你看，这是小衣架，你可以把衣服搭在我身上。”
Di имени Сенен Диван, Сенен Хиштети.
我見到朝早同我阿媽去出去食早餐。
我看到我小时候住的老小区，以及我在那里所有的猫猫狗狗朋友。
맞아, 무슨 말이야? 전에 봤어요. 무슨 말이야?
我看见我外婆煮的香菇贡丸汤，但是我再也喝不到了，因为外婆一辈子都要坐在轮椅上。What about you all? What is home to you?
your memory, experience, the life that you've lived.
Home is the people who loves me exactly who I am.
Home is a charity.
Home is where you fall asleep, where you relax, and where comfort smells like rice.
Home is waking up on my grandparents' balcony.
Home is where people know your name and you're there for people around.
Home is being able to see that beautiful forest, beautiful tree coming from the north.
Home is those we grew up with and those who grew past us.
Home is the people who do crazy stuff with myself.
Home is my last machine. My day gets here. My governor secretary, my father.
Home is that